What is going on, everybody? Welcome in to the North End Podcast live here on Tuesday, December 20th. We are here to break down the 2023 regular season schedule for Austin FC. But first, my name is Zach Graham, your host here on the North End Podcast, joined, as always, by my good buddy. It's Ian Michaud, a.k.a. E, a.k.a. Lee James, a.k.a. Sebastian Drew Easy, a.k.a. Easterdamus, a.k.a. Pap E. O'Daniel, a.k.a. Chili Willie. E, how you doing on this Tuesday afternoon?
I am doing quite well. Very excited about doing this little live show here and getting to the schedule. Obviously, I've had a chance to look at it. And, man, I don't think I'm going to get anything better for Christmas. In fact, I know I will not get anything better for Christmas.
I don't know. You never know. You, me, and the great Schnorb Jones, we get together on Christmas Day. We watch a lot of hoops. So you never know. You get some presents on that day. But, this is a pretty good one, to be sure. So I guess sometimes we'll go off on a tangent here to start the pods that are maybe more personal in nature or certainly silly. Let's go ahead and just dive in to the schedule here, and I may need to zoom in a little bit on this. See if I'm technologically savvy enough. I think we can pull it off.
Good zoom.
Not bad. Not bad. There we go. See, this is
even better.
Live content for you, everybody. I guess the thing that stands out first, right, E, is look who's coming to town first.
Great.
February 25th. The first match for the expansion St. Louis City SC will be at Q2 Stadium. Jared Stroud making his triumphant return in game one with his new club. I'll just throw it to you first. What did you think about seeing St. Louis first on the schedule?
I'm surprised I didn't think that it was going to be the first game. After seeing it, I was like, oh, shit. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Super excited about that. I think, having them come in after us being the most recent addition here and drop St. Louis in with us and get them to the Q, the best atmosphere in the entire league. I'm super excited for that. I'm excited to see their team. I think, honestly, it'll be a nice – I'm anticipating seeing the early Austin FC team here. Their version of what we were our first season.
Complete with the Jared Stroud and everything.
Yeah, right. I'm super excited. Obviously, just looking at how close that date is away from right now also gets me. I feel a lot of things. I feel alive today. What a time to be alive. I'm super excited to see St. Louis. That's going to be great.
Yeah, and to be honest, I think that's a good point by you that it makes sense that they would bring them in against one of the other newer clubs and the other one being Charlotte, but the fact that St. Louis is in the Western Conference, it makes more sense to have them in Austin. But I don't know, honestly, maybe something we should look into, is their stadium not done yet? Because the surprising thing about it to me was that they are not at home to open their season. So maybe they have a similar situation to what we did 2 seasons ago.
I could see that.
And I think ultimately, like you said, if St. Louis is anything like we were to start our expansion season, then it should be 3 points at home there. But we'll see. We know they've got some dudes already. We talked about Berkey being in net and a couple of their other signings a few pods ago. So obviously we'll dive into the St. Louis match when we get much closer to that home opener. And I see Ari's in the chat here, so it's good to see Ari's. He says too much Crynamo and Frisco on our schedule. And so that was obviously the second thing that I looked at was when are the Copa Tejas matches?
Yep.
Right. And it does appear that now that we are going back to unbalanced conferences with now 15 in the West and 14 in the East with Nashville, I believe moving back, or maybe it's 15 over there now. I'm not sure, but obviously an uneven number. 3 matches each against Houston and Dallas. And as Wemby chimes in from the other room, let's see if I can silence him a little bit. What do you think about 3 matches each? Going back to what we did that first year, 6 Copa Tejas matches for the Verde and Black.
It's going to be wild. Again, Crynamo, that was a nice little addition there in the chat. I had never heard that one before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had not heard that one. It's going to be fast and furious at the end there. Lot of matchups, going to be decided in this Copa Tejas, and it should be fun. I think it ends in Frisco again, correct?
I believe you're correct. Yeah, at Dallas, August 26th is the final of the 6 matches.
Mm-hmm.
But we go, as you see here, I mean, we get started really early.
Yeah.
March 18th.
Yep.
And that's at Houston. So I know you and I have never been to one of those matches out there in Houston. I think with 2 on the schedule, maybe we can figure out which one works best for both of us and get out there. So March 18th, the first one, and then kind of not really back-to-backs, but I mean, the second one certainly is. Dallas comes to Q2 May 13th.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go down to May here. And you see Houston on the schedule there 2 weeks later. The good thing I think about these 6 matches, 5 of the 6 on Saturdays, all at 7:30.
Nice.
Yeah, accessible matches for all the fans and fans of both teams, right? Because we want that, despite all the back and forth about the instruments and whatnot in the playoffs, like we want those fan bases to be able to bring, if we're talking Houston, their entire fan base to fit up there in that one half section that we have. And they do well up there. So
yeah, bring the noise, bring the heat. We want it.
Yeah. So then June, only 4 games or matches, right? Got to be in soccer mode here. The 21st and the 24th, that is a back-to-back. Wednesday night at Q2, hosting Frisco, and then the Crynamo on Saturday. And that is leading right up to the month-long break that we'll have.
Yep.
For I'm mistaken. Leagues Cup is at the end of July. So jumping the gun there on the Leagues Cup break. But and then, like you mentioned, at Dallas, August 26th to close out Copa Tejas. Or to be honest, I'm not sure what the last matchup between Dallas and Houston is. Maybe there is one later. Sue me for not looking at either of those teams' schedules here 45 minutes after they dropped. But hopefully we have that thing wrapped up before the final match in Dallas. Because, we came out on top last year at Dallas, but it was a late equalizing goal that got us the Copa.
I mean, we'll take an end, we'll take a finish right to the end, I'm excited for it. Like we said, like the game last year, got that late goal that put us over the top for the Copa Tejas. Man, what it really does it just really grows these rivalries even more. And I think that's awesome for us. I think that's awesome for the other clubs as well. And I know we have a good time. We crack jokes, Frisco jokes, Crynamo, and everything like that. But we are all in on, good, high-quality soccer being played in the state of Texas with all 3 of these clubs. And, man, I was just looking. You scroll down there. I was looking at that month of April. And that's the month that I'm looking at right now with some real tests on there. Obviously, usually San Jose – well, not usually, but, a poor season last year. But, we have not beaten them. One of the many thorns in our side. And that April month is going to be exciting, man. Some tests there, it's not chock full of games like a couple of these other months that we have, 6 or so, but some quality opponents. So that's really going to be, we were looking at how do we think we're going to finish, next year. And I'd imagine we'll get to that at some point in this live stream. But a good test month there to see where we're at, assuming these other teams are performing.
Right, to the level we think, or that we've come to expect.
Yes.
For sure. I will note, I'm sure we've got masses of people listening right now, but at least we know Aries is here. If you are commenting on the Twitter broadcast, like the simulcast over there, we can't see those comments. So if you do want to comment and get in the discussion, head over to that YouTube channel and comment there in the chat.
Just got word that Brian jumped in, so maybe we'll hear from him shortly.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah.
It's been, we haven't seen our boys Brian and Mike since the not decision day, since the Western Conference final that we all watched together. So good to see you, Brian, if you are tuning in there. let's take a look at the Eastern Conference matchups. And this was kind of, I think, another casualty of the imbalanced conferences, if you will, is that we only get 4 games against Eastern Conference teams, and only 2 of them that we haven't played yet. We're going to have a rematch early second match of the season, and it's at Q2. So we open up with 2 home matches there. Montreal coming south of the border this time. And we've talked a lot about Montreal over the last few weeks. And here you go.
Hey, there he is.
Hey, and I'll say this, Ian, maybe we can do this. If anybody who's tuning in wants to come on and give a take about the schedule, DM us on Twitter. I will send you the link. We'll come in. We'll get you a couple minutes of a take, and then send you on your way. So just offering that out there to anybody. That can be a dangerous thing to offer, but I trust our friends here in the Austin FC fanverse. Here's Brian chiming in right away. St. Louis City, you're going to get a baptism by Verde. Yeah, we talked a little bit about that St. Louis match, and we'll see them twice, right, as they're a Western Conference team.
At the end there, too.
And here you go. Ari saying a little disappointed on the away schedule. Wanted some different matchups. Guess it is what it is. Yeah, and I think both of us, Ari's, and you could obviously speak for yourself. I think just in the Eastern Conference schedule, both home and away, I'm disappointed by the number of games being 4. And seeing Montreal and DC again, both of those are at home. And excuse me, I misspoke. There's 5 Eastern Conference games. So again, your math can be tough, especially when you're doing it live. But
counting
the ones that I think we do like to see. We talked about last Thursday about 2 of the teams that we would really want to see come through Q2 that we hadn't faced yet, and we do get one of them. Toronto coming to Q2. And that is in May. So we just scroll down to May, obviously, Lorenzo Insigne, Bernadeschi, Michael Bradley, John Osorio. Like we've been waiting to see these guys just against Austin FC, home or away. And I think the fact that they're coming here, again, we mentioned last time, Toronto may be a little bit more of a hassle to get to if we were going to go on the road for one of these Eastern Conference matches. So I'm glad that they're coming here. How do you feel about Insigne, Bernadeschi, and the like coming to Q2 in May? It should be good weather.
Yeah. I mean, as I mentioned on the last pod, Toronto was the team I wanted to see come to the Q. Super stoked to see Insigne. This is going to keep happening here. We're going to be able to see some real world talents. As we keep moving forward with the schedule. Forgive me if I get his name. It's Ari or
Ari's. Yeah, Ari's.
I initially he made that point there about being a little disappointed with the away schedule there, and I'm kind of on board with that too. Yeah, I got my initial excitement for seeing Toronto coming, seeing this loaded Copa Tejas schedule. Might have taken away from the away schedule. And I know that there's been some chatter of trying to get to some away games here. Obviously got a couple buddies and, Verdes who like to travel, and I'd be all for that. If you had to go with one game to go visit, where are you going?
This is easy for me. And it fits right in here to the Eastern Conference matches. Take me to July 1st down in Florida. Take me to Miami and see Lionel Messi play against the Verde and Black. I mean, how could you have any other answer here unless there's some sort of geographic, I think we're going. I think I also missed. We may have 6. Somebody just texted me. I think we have Red Bulls as well, so we have 6 Eastern Conference games. I initially said 4, corrected myself to 5. This is why we're amateurs at this.
I mean, if you're off the first time, you can be off the second time.
Yeah, third time's the charm.
Yeah.
So, and here's and I apologize, Louis Lewis, in here says the Northeast matches are at a great time of year. Looking into New England,
it's a good
or
point.
New York, a great
as
point.
As a New Yorker, I can attest to nice, beautiful weather up there during that time of year.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've been to Gillette Stadium once. I saw the Pats play. It's tough for me to get and be comfortable in the New England area.
I don't know if I want to see a game in an NFL stadium regardless.
I also understand that. And I mean, I think I'd be hard pressed to not be picking the Miami game as well. I've never been to Miami.
Yeah, me either. Me either.
I would love to go to Miami.
Yeah, never seen Messi either.
Yeah. Shit, man. I was about to say I'll start looking at flights right now, but if he's on the team, the tickets are gonna be more expensive than the plane.
Yeah, hell, I mean, it's worth it. Maybe we might have to drive. Who knows? But to go see Messi, we'll talk about Messi here in a little bit. I mean, I think we're going to be pressed to squeeze in some World Cup talk, but we'll definitely get it in near the end.
So update the people, and by the people, I mean me, on when these cup matches are fitting in here.
Right.
So you said we have a month-long break at the end of July, yes?
Yeah. So you mentioned, well, first of all, you mentioned like busy months, right? And you look at May. Yep. 6 MLS matches in there. And you look at March, there's 6 games on the schedule, but only 4 regular season matches because we have that round of 16 CONCACAF Champions League on the schedule there. So I believe there's about a month between round of 16, quarterfinal, semifinal, final in that. But again, there's 2 matches that come with each of those.
Correct.
I think and the final as well. They still have 2 legs there. U.S. Open Cup last year started in April because how could we forget the just disaster? I mean, again, like disaster is all relative. That was the only away match that you and I have been to together.
Yes.
And thinking we were going to go down. It was on a certain date. We were having a blast going in there in April. And then just to come out with the loss in overtime and have to take the ribbing from the San Antonio fans on our way back to the car through that parking lot that was just a nightmare to get out of. I imagine U.S. Open Cup happens around the same time. So that first match for the Verde and Black, which I think is 3rd. We actually might be coming in the 4th round this year because of how high we finished in MLS last year. I think it's the top 8 teams that get that extra round bye. Which we will absolutely take this year, right? With all these extra games. And then it is the end of July, not June, or really mid-July, right? You see July 15th, our last regular season match between then and August 20th when we go to St. Louis. So it'll be that month-long tournament there, Leagues Cup between MLS and Liga MX.
It would have been sweet if they could have got those 2 Los Angeles away games within the same week.
Just stay out there?
Yeah, that would have been really cool.
It would have been nice for travel. I wonder if they would have stayed out there or if they would have come home. Like if it's a Saturday rather than Wednesday. Like, and if it was Wednesday, Saturday, I would hate that. Because that's 2 L's. Like just like a schedule. You're losing one of those matches probably.
I mean, for sure. This is all speculative at this point because obviously it's not happening, but that would have been a sweet little 5-6 days, go out there, catch 2 games. Would have been really cool. I would imagine they would have come home for that, but we don't got to, get into things that aren't actually happening here. Man, I'm looking for like patches of schedule of games, of matches that, are going to be like in the dredges of it, in the trenches, like where, obviously we had such a hot start last year, hit the proverbial wall, so to speak. And I'm looking for that point too. I'm trying to figure out where it is for us. And maybe it's that May. Obviously, Portland is never an easy task.
We're 0-2 up there. We haven't scored up there yet.
Never an easy task for any team, albeit if they have scored or not. Then back home for Frisco, which they're good. They're gonna they should be good next year. Obviously they have one of the most talented players in the league. And there's always a little extra juice in that game there. So, and then you come then you're back up to the Pacific Northwest, heading to Seattle, obviously,
and on a double game week.
Another very difficult place to play. Claudio said it best. We're professionals. We're going to have to play in the middle of the week. Yeah. And we're going to have to get points in the middle of the fucking week. And that's the name of the game here.
Yeah.
So I think, if I'm looking at a patch where it's just like tough, I think it's this month of May here.
Yeah, I agree.
Also, if the US Cup or Open or whatever is on April,
yeah, we would hopefully still be playing, right? You don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to drop that first match again. Like,
For sure.
I would also like to play some of those younger guys, but and if we overperform in CCL, you could also have Champions League matches in May. So like that could be the month that like make or breaks either those tournaments, the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's where in Seattle, I think all of us would do that all over again to win Champions League and go to the Club World Cup. But like this is the month that really killed them and they were never able to bounce back from it.
True.
I also think we could look at September as where we really struggled to close out the season last year.
Yeah.
Where you've got, Road New England, Road Red Bulls, Road Colorado in the elevation, then Galaxy and Timbers coming to Q2. I think that's also a really tough month. And if they can improve on their results from September last year to this year, that'll be big in closing wherever, if they're going for top of the West again, clinching the 2, clinching top 4, or just, fighting for a playoff spot, which, we could be sitting here in September and be fighting for 7-6 seed, down at the bottom. There's a lot of parity in this league.
Absolutely.
I do want to bring on, we have a guest.
Let's go.
So you've seen him in the stands. You've seen him on the We Are Austin TV reaction videos outside the stadium. It's Ari Silva. Aris, how you doing, man? Good to meet you.
Hey, what's going on, fam? How are you guys doing?
We're pumped, man. Loving the schedule release day. Obviously, we're excited doing this, kind of live reaction breakdown of it. And glad to talk to you, man.
Yeah, I promise I won't go full Wellhausen on the reaction like I do on the We're Austin TV reactions. Man, the schedule, I don't know. I'm kind of scratching my head on this one. How the hell is Copa Tejas going to work, right? Because it's on balance. Because Frisco only plays Houston twice.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
see, that's what we were just talking about.
I looked it up, and they only play each other twice. So it's like, how is that going to work? Right? So we're going to have one more game against each, yet they're only going to have 2 against each other. So I'm wondering if they're just going to only say, look, we'll make one of them count, something like that.
Right.
Yeah. I don't think they thought this through, at least not for the local competitions like the Copa Tejas one.
Yeah.
So take a look at that.
You're probably spot on in terms of like just making 2 of them count, 2 of our matches count, and the third one not count towards that competition. But that's a bummer, man, because...
So which one wouldn't count? The last game?
My guess would be they're probably going to say, look, the first home and away will count, and then whatever comes after doesn't matter.
Yeah. That seems like the way to do it if we're forced into that, because, the longer we go, the more exhausted the team can get, and you can take on injuries, etc. So I think, we want those earlier games to be the ones that do count, but that's a bummer that they...
It is a bummer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also, like I mentioned, I'm not super happy with the away schedules. Like, we could have gotten some new Eastern Conference teams, but the same old freaking Red Bulls, the same Montreal. So it's all right. I'm okay with the schedule. Could have been better in my opinion, but it is what it is.
What are you most looking forward to? Which game?
Man, well, obviously the home opener. Another 5-0. Hey,
we'll take that.
Let's go. I'm kind of feeling the same way. That's how we started last year against Cincy. So it's like, hey, I'm excited about that one. The Miami one. That looks kind of interesting too.
Yeah, boy.
Is Messi going to join MLS by then? Who knows?
Didn't he say so? He's not retiring from the national team, right?
Right.
Staying on board with them.
Who knows? Maybe he wants to win something at PSG, but fat chance there.
Yeah.
We could get a nice little contingency of Verdes down to Miami. That could be a really awesome time.
So those are the only ones that stood out, man. All the other ones, and obviously going to St. Louis for the first time, I think that'd be kind of cool. But I don't know. I'm a little disappointed with the schedule. Let's be honest here.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely fair.
No Toronto love. Not excited to see Bernadeschi, Insigne, U.S. legend Bradley.
Yeah, I got too many felonies, so I can't make it to Canada, man. But it'll be all right. Nah,
well, they're coming here.
That's right. Oh, that's right. They're coming here. Oh, okay. Let's go.
There you go.
There we go.
Yeah, man. Pumped for that. Any other takes? What do you think before we let you go? What do you think about these tournaments coming up this year? Because obviously we have CCL on the schedule in March. Takes us from 4 to 6 games right off the bat in that first full month. And then we've got Open Cup and we've got Leagues Cup and stuff. Like, is there a tournament that you think the club should key on? And why is it CCL?
Well, obviously, I mean, that's the most prestigious one.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, this year's going to be the last time that they do this old format, right? Because next year there will be more teams, etc.
Yeah.
I don't think we have the depth, y'all. I don't think we have the depth. Especially, you guys heard the news this morning regarding Gabrielson, right? I'm really, really concerned for our defense. So I do like CCL. I don't think we're going to be able to make a run this year. So in lieu of that, I'm looking forward to the Nations League. It depends on who we get in our group. I'm excited to see, maybe we'll get some of the lower ranked Mexican teams in our group, and let's run it up. I want to see what we look like. I want to see what our club, how it compares against other international teams. Obviously, we all like to think that our club is the best in the world, but let's see if that's real or not, right?
Yeah. Well, and we've played 3 Liga MX teams in the friendlies, obviously, so they're not always running out their best team. Certainly Austin not doing the same either. But the fact that we get to host both of the group stage games, I think is nice. And again, maybe it's like a wait and see thing for Leagues Cup for the club, right? And how hard they're actually going to go after it, depending on how the regular season is going, how the squad looks, health wise and things like that. But at least we have no other games during that month, right?
I was making a joke that people were complaining last year about the heat, and they're like, "Oh, there's not enough water in the stadium." Well, there you go. They said we just won't play in the summer at all.
It's definitely going to be a test of our depth. And seeing if these younger guys can take a step next year, and give us quality minutes in matches that we're going to be put to the test. I still have PTSD from Pachuca just coming in here and just dumping shots all over us.
I mean, it was not the ideal time to catch them coming off they lost the final, right? In Liga MX. I don't know which, because again, they play like 2 separate seasons down there, but they had just lost the final, and so like they came out ready to beat I won't say our B team, but we'll say our A- team that we put out there.
We could have done better for sure, but in the grand scheme of things, it ended up really not mattering, right? I mean,
correct.
We still kicked ass after that game.
Yep.
So hey, another question: are you guys planning on covering the Austin FC2 team? That would be awesome if you guys at least can do some talking about that.
So we're looking forward to not just hopefully covering that team on the podcast, but we got our fingers crossed that we're going to be playing those games at Palmer Field, at the pitch, and that they'll be free, and that we have this space. Like, I thought Ian said it best last week when we kind of discussed the unveiling of the Next Pro Club, that that could be a place where fans who maybe can't get to certainly every game at Q2, or haven't gone to a game at all, like if you can get some fans there for free to watch the Next Pro team, that's just another way to bring people who aren't even fans of soccer into the sport and into being fans, into this Austin FC community that is, obviously we're still so young, we're still so early in this process. And the Next Pro team seems like it's going to be, just like a G League team for the NBA, a AAA team in Major League Baseball. Like, you need these systems to bring players up through and let the young guys develop. So yeah, I think we're not just going to cover that side of the franchise, but excited to do so for sure.
Hey, Rodney Redes needs fans too, you know what I mean?
He might get might get a Rodney Redes hat trick, you know.
He might actually score. He might actually score, which, you know.
And something that's, in friendlies, he's dangerous.
He's the
out of all the friendlies, that's the only one I didn't go to, so I didn't get a chance to see him score.
Oh man. Yeah, and then he scored, and the other one was one of the behind closed door scrimmages, I think.
He said he scored. I still have my doubts about that.
Right. You know, Wolf just being cheeky in the press conference there.
Like the Jordan, it's the LeBron video where he gets dunked on.
Yeah, it doesn't exist.
It's not real.
Scrub it from the internet.
I mean, you look at the amount of young players who have come up through the academy through a lot of these more storied teams, and they're all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're not just in MLS. They're on different clubs. They're in different countries. So I'm definitely excited about our next pro team here, and I would love to go catch some games of them, see them do their thing. And I think I would assume that we'll be at least touching on them when they have matches that we can get into the pod.
Mm-hmm.
Super cool.
No question.
Cool. Yeah. All right, very cool, guys. Hey, let me let you go. Thanks for the pod. Thanks for the invite. You guys did a great job, man. Keep it up.
Appreciate it, Aris. Thanks for the love, man. Good to meet you.
Peace.
See you, brother.
Hell yeah.
Appreciate Aris coming on the pod.
Awesome.
Again, if anybody wants to jump on, give their take about the schedule, go ahead and DM us on Twitter. We'll send you the link and bring you on. Let's continue through the schedule here. I guess we can kind of jump into or I guess let's talk a little bit more about the Eastern Conference, because now that it took me a half an hour to figure out how many Eastern Conference games there are in the schedule. We talked about Montreal, and I guess the only other point I wanted to make about Montreal was
we got all these Canadian teams this year.
Well, Ari said it right about St. Louis in the opener, and can we get another 5-0 to start the season? And if you're going to do it against anybody, the expansion side is maybe who you do it against. But then Montreal, can we go 5-0 again and then 5-1? Because Montreal lost everybody.
True.
And who knows what they're going to look like?
Yeah, they are sans a lot of talent right now.
Yeah.
As much as I would love to see a 10-1 goal differential in the first two games, I am not holding out the expectation that that's what we're going to do. Mm-hmm. Again, I think we caught teams by surprise last year.
Yeah,
especially early in the season.
No doubt.
People are going to be ready for us this year. We're going to, especially given our reputation throughout the league, as these misinformed fans who don't really know what's going on. And, we're annoying because we did well. But for some reason, we're not supposed to be happy about that.
Yeah.
So nobody is going to be sleeping on us this next season. And, with all these other games, this is going to be a tough year.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's going to put the entire franchise structure to the test.
Absolutely. We will see where the cracks are. And I guess, win or lose, it could be a good thing. We can see where we need to get better, where we need to improve. Mm-hmm. But yeah, from top to bottom, this is really going to put everyone to the test. Obviously, with such a dense and condensed schedule, the minutes are going to start to rack up for our starters, which is also going to keep them more so out of training, more so out of practice. Obviously, we have some guys who in soccer years are a little bit up there.
Yeah.
Obviously, you have to account for the accumulation of injuries in such a sport where you have players running 5Ks every single time they step out on the pitch. So it's going to be a tough season, and I really hope we can respond to this challenge. We have found ourselves in 3 tournaments now, where we got to perform at some level, whether we're rolling out young dudes or whether we're rolling out our actual squad. Man, especially with this Gabrielson news kind of lingering here.
Yeah, God, we'll talk about that in a little bit.
My excitement has come down a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, things
Give me a dose of reality real quick.
Yeah, things on the back line certainly in flux between now and that February 25th home opener. We talked about Montreal. We talked about Toronto, Miami, New England, Red Bulls. I mean, New England and Red Bulls, that is a tough stretch there in September. We touched on September already. Then going down to October, right, to close out the season. DC coming to Q2. That's nice to have at the end of the season, especially with those other two matches. LAFC coming right after that DC on Wednesday. Like Wayne Rooney coming to town there as a manager, right? But Wayne Rooney coming to town. Sofiane Jeffel, revenge game. Austin and LAFC 3 days later, and then you close it out San Jose on decision day.
What's your take on DC next year? I think they're going to be quite improved.
You think?
I do.
I mean, I don't know if I see them in the playoffs. But I think both of us agree that the Eastern Conference is the weaker conference.
Correct.
So it's probably easier to make the climb there.
I mean, I don't know if I'm expecting them to make the playoffs. I just don't think that's
wooden spoon.
That's any sort of pushover.
Okay.
Especially given how he performed out there last season.
Fair, yeah. Needed the red card in every bit of the 90 minutes to have that comeback.
So yeah, I mean that
Q2 is a different story though. Like those guys haven't seen anything like Q2.
I was not trying to make the parallel that, it was the same playing in DC as it is to come in here to Q2. Excuse me. Just that I think those three games, we saw it last season. At the end of the season there, we had how many times did the supporter shield change? It was Philly.
Especially between Philly and LAFC.
Yeah, it was Philly, and then that last month of the season propelled LAFC to that.
Yeah.
So with that also, and then LAFC coming on the 7th, we could be looking at some serious playoff positioning.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah. I mean, and coming off 2 weeks after the Galaxy come here, so I do look. Yeah, look. We'll talk Ricky Pooch here in a second. Look who's here. RB22 checking in. Good to see you, buddy. Hey, again, we'll put that out there. Anybody who is available wants to come on stream, give their take on the schedule, DM us on Twitter. We'll shoot you the link and bring you on. Good to see RB in the chat. Let's talk a little bit more about. We were talking about away games earlier, and Brian was chiming in. So I want to call our attention to this portion of the schedule. When we go on the road,
Brian, you dog.
You're
on the road in my pockets. Get into my
wallet. So, see, here's my issue, Brian, with this stretch is like Northwest trip, fantastic. I'm super down. The only time I've been to Seattle was fantastic. I feel like I went there the only 3 days out of the year where it was just sunny, not a cloud in the sky.
Don't expect that again.
But see, I can't go up there without coming back because I'm not missing Austin and FC Dallas at Q2 on the 13th. And that's tough. We go to Portland, then a week later we're home Dallas, Wednesday at Seattle, then home Toronto for that firepower. That's we already talked. We went through May a little bit already, but this is a tough month.
Yeah, that is a tough month. And then shit, you got another Copa Tejas match there.
Yep. David chiming in saying, I think this season is going to tell us if we're truly a top 4 team the standings. And I agree, David. And we talked about us two, and we were hanging out with Brian and Mike on Western Conference Final Day. We were talking right after the match, like, what is the new, again, we had a couple 2-3 before we were talking about this, but we were saying, what is the new baseline?
For sure.
Right? Because we overperformed last year, no doubt. And certainly all of our expectations. And then, of course, everybody who was yelling bonus games and this and that was always talking about the underlying numbers this, the underlying numbers that. And we just kept winning and scoring. But I think, again, like the baseline should not be, for us as fans, the baseline should not be top 2.
No, I agree. I think that comment was spot on and perfect. I think I can't remember exactly where I said I expected us, where I would be satisfied with us finishing on an earlier pod, but I believe it was 4.
Yeah.
And I think that is spot on. We will find out if we are actually a top 4 team in this Western Conference that is absolutely loaded.
Yep.
And is only getting better. Yeah. When are we going to squeeze Wrexham in here? When's McElhenney coming?
Right. So I think June is ripe for that Wrexham tour. Because we do, obviously, we talked about that last week. It's been confirmed that there's no way that they're not coming here. McConaughey talking about it on the Decision Day match with Adrian Healy, on the last local broadcast, teasing that. And now with McElhenney confirming that they're coming through. Yeah. And I think it was Chu on Twitter that was talking to me. He was like, why would you want to go see Austin FC play these farmers?
Whoa!
And like, he's not wrong because like they are 5th division, right? And again, like I'm purposely not keeping up with Wrexham in their current season because I want to be like surprised and fully entertained.
I peaked.
You did? Don't tell me. No
I know where they stand.
Okay, well, no spoilers.
Venmo me $10 right now, or I will reveal it on my.
even if they moved up right to whatever the division above their league is,
bro, they got Super Paul Mullins.
We'll see, and that's why I do want to see it because like I kind of want to. Yeah. Maybe I won't do it out loud, but I'll be humming the tune in my head like the Super Paul Mullen chant and all that, and I just think that's going to be cool.
We need some more player-specific chants. That is something that we need.
Yes.
If people want to chime in with where they, see us finishing this year, I would like to see that. What the expectation is. Also, I don't know if you saw this. I don't know who released it, but there was the top 5 goals for Austin FC.
I didn't see that yet. I saw MLS was releasing that. For every team.
I wanted to see how our little bracket compared to it.
Yeah.
So we'll have to take a look at that at some point too. I unfortunately had not had enough time to watch it this morning with obviously all of this news, the website crashing. I saw someone say that the MLS or the website was just they're all on like vacation.
I did when I tried to pull up that Dallas site when Ari's talked about the imbalanced Copa Tejas schedule. I couldn't load theirs up, and I was having trouble loading the Austin FC site too when you told me that you thought it was down.
Let's go back up to March real quick.
Okay.
And let's see if Mike's gonna have to reschedule his wedding.
Oh God, isn't that the Montreal day?
It is.
Mike.
Oh, the wedding's off. Sorry, Mike.
That's another thing too, is that all regular season games now either on Wednesday or Saturday. So there, there's no, random Tuesday games.
Yeah.
Moving a game to Sunday if you had one on Wednesday, like.
Mike, I think it makes coordinate with the team. You could have got the Violette game. Swap
right? We could have watched that first leg
out the pre-court.
Yeah. Mike, we're gonna have to talk to the fiance, man. We might, Hey, we'll just move the wedding to Q2.
Hell yeah.
Who says no?
Stuver can ordain it.
Stuver ordain it at halftime.
Yep.
Wedding party in the supporter section. North End.
I'm glad we have
North End. We got to stay on brand.
We got this settled. That's all. We're also wedding planners now.
I think really the only other like Western Conference games that caught my eye. Obviously, like you said, it's a loaded conference. We have a lot of budding rivalries. Some that I think are already almost you could call them fully formed, but obviously the only team that finished above us is going to stand out on the schedule. So LAFC on the road, April 8th, which I'm not sure if April 8th was the date of the game last year. I think it might have been April 10th, but that's very close to the away match that the team won against LAFC, the first one last year. And then an even wider gap date-wise between the two matches, going from near the beginning of the season to all the way the penultimate match of the season, LAFC coming to Q2 on October 7th. So that stood out to me. A couple other things that stood out. We can stick here in October. Decision Day against San Jose. Another team that we have not beat. And I think in 5 tries, and the craziness, the chaos, etc. All the things that we know that San Jose brings to the table, I want no fucking part of on decision day if we're battling, like if we need the points.
I totally agree.
I don't know, like that. I'm already getting anxiety from seeing them as that final match, on the road too.
I totally agree with that. And they're just chicanery versus us.
Yeah.
Will add to the stress and anxiety of that day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say hopefully we're solidified by that time, because there's all kinds of jockeying that happens. And it's called decision day for a reason.
Right.
Things are decided, on that day. So, I am also not looking forward to what you would usually look at it from a talent standpoint, where they finished last year as a favorable kind of matchup. Mm-hmm. But obviously we know their play style gives us all kinds of fits. And it's in San Jose. I mean, it's a road game. Maybe we'll have to go to that just for some moral support.
Yeah. We'll have to see. I'm looking here. I did get the Dallas schedule up, not just to look at the only, just the 2 Houston matches that they have, throwing off that Copa Tejas schedule. Their final matchup against Houston is September 30th. So Copa Tejas will, unless Austin, we just take care of business. We beat both teams every time we play them, which would be ideal.
Let's do that.
Then that match wouldn't matter as much. But the other thing I was looking at, if you notice here on our schedule, the gap between the LAFC match and decision day, 2 weeks. Yeah. So there's a bye week, and looking at Dallas's schedule, they also have that. So I assume it's a league-wide bye. I don't know if that's an international break of some sorts. We'll have to look into that further, but it's interesting to have a bye week right before decision day. And I think I'm a fan of it, because you want everybody to get healthy for the most important match for some teams of the season, and then heading into the playoffs.
That's a very good point. I made a face right there because it seemed strange, just given the other large American sport schedules here, to have a giant gap of 2 weeks at the end of the season when you're really, ramping up to get into the playoffs. But a very good point. And as we, have hammered home for 4 consecutive pods, our depth is going to be put to the test, and hopefully we can get, be lucky, be fortunate with our injuries. RB22 said it well, some prayers, whatever we got to do.
Yeah.
To just stay healthy and see this thing through.
Yeah. I feel like we were pretty lucky with, I know we missed Johan Valencia, for a long portion of the season. And obviously Hector with the, pretty damaging soft tissue injury that he took on against Houston at home and was out multiple months. I still think overall we had some good injury luck, all things considered.
I totally agree. And as someone who currently roots for the Lakers, we know all about injuries. We were fortunate. And I was going to just point out, we set the bar really high. We set the bar very high, and there's very little room for improvement in regard to where we finished and, the things we accomplished last year. Obviously, we can raise the cup, we can win Supporter Shield, we can finish first in the conference out, but there's not a lot of place for us to move upwards.
Right. Right.
So my excitement's back. I'm ready to go. I want to get to February. I want to see these guys in action again. Obviously, I'm assuming the Gabrielson news is the catastrophic news, Peaky Blinders.
Yeah, it appears that way.
Lies, and deceit episode. That appears to be the news. So obviously, even though we did not expect it, can take a nice collective sigh of relief as Verde fans that Seba is still with us,
and Diego,
but
Danny, to be again, it's.
Ruben's on the short list. Ruben is on the short list.
Absolutely. Well, and we touched on that really briefly last time because we were talking about the Vicenen rumor, right? And then obviously Hernan dropped the bad shit is happening. Yeah. And I think we just kind of in passing were like, maybe maybe something happened to the back line. I think we said Julio or Ruben, where like injury or personal thing where they had to leave, or and maybe that's why the Vicenen rumor resurfaced. But yeah, apparently it's Ruben. We did get some more of the fellas chiming in here. RB says, see us being in between 3rd and 8th, way too early to tell with moves still to be made. But if we get hit hard, that's where I see us finishing. Hope we're on the top end. I agree. David saying, see us ending 6th or higher, depending on how we start the season.
Okay.
I think that's a good take. And then Ari's back in here saying, I'd love for us to finish above 6, but last year will be a tough act to follow. And you've made it, E. You've made it when the porn bots show up.
Woo!
So yeah, go ahead. I'll send you that. I'll send you that link.
They're vert girls.
Yeah, we'll get them out of here.
Look, I think that all 3 of those expectations are sound.
Mm-hmm.
Where we should be like trying to see ourselves. I also like the 6th and above, and no cap at the 3rd there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm on board with all 3 of these guys here. God dang, those are some giant bass.
Yeah, right.
Holy smokes, bro!
I know RB gets out there,
cool.
and I know he's got a really cool picture of him on Town Lake, like with the city skyline in the background, blue sky day. He's got his kit on,
nice.
on his Twitter. Yeah, so
hey man,
we know you're not on Twitter that much, but maybe,
that much?
Maybe I don't know. I don't know if you've got a shadow account or not. There's rumors out there.
Spies, Lies, and Deceit episode 2.
Yeah.
Will reveal.
Yeah, written by E.
Around. I think anything less than 5th, I think I'm going to be a little disappointed.
Mm-hmm. I think for me, not like top 4 is the goal. Host another home playoff match.
Yes, host another home playoff match and see how the other things play out. Maybe we get 2.
Yep.
Yep. But yeah, there's infinite things that are going to take place.
Yeah, things are going to change
this season.
A lot.
Things are going to change. People will be traded. Transfers will be acquired. People will get hurt. Seasons will fall apart for some teams. So yeah, I like the expectation for what the fans are the other Verdes fans are chiming in here.
Mm-hmm.
And it negates the the stereotype that we're a little deranged.
Yeah, and I think we said top 4 I think is the goal. 5 through 7, so like still in the playoffs to me is acceptable. Letdown is too strong of a term, but I think just coming up a little short and like out of the playoffs is a step back, and maybe that's an understatement. Just for the level of talent that we have on this team now, that we know is like you've been through a full season. Driussi is one of, if not the best player in the league. Diego's resurgence, and we could go on and on. Verde jerking here, but here's a
jerking. That's 2. There's 2 terms: Crinamo and Verde jerking. That we can.
Another thing that stood out to me, is that I think this is an MLS tradition, but no more with the Apple TV deal, because the 4th of July is a Tuesday. So no 4th of July matches in MLS this year, which I kind of like. I the last 2 years specifically when we've had them have really enjoyed that on 4th of July, being able to get together, with the boys, with the crew, and do your normal 4th of July cookout, hangout, couple beers, whatever, but also have a Verde match to look forward to. That also would have been cool, like, if you think about maybe having a 4th of July home match at Q2 and like maybe post-game fireworks, things like that, like hopefully 4th of July in the near future falls on a Wednesday or Saturday. Until then, it appears that the 4th of July matches around the league are gone.
Well, it should be next year, correct?
I'm not a calendar expert. You got to consult the Mayans for that.
Isn't it just one day? Isn't it just the next?
Dude, I don't know. The months are there's different days, different number of days. Is it a leap year? What? Like,
how unsure you are right now has made me unsure of this.
Yeah, and you should be unsure. We can look right now. I mean, I
mean, yeah, that's how it works. It's just the next day.
Maybe somebody could educate me. See, it's not because I'm looking. July 24th or July 4th, 2024. Excuse me, is a Thursday. So it's not how it works. Look, we're learning all kinds of things today on the live stream.
Sure. Good thing.
Let's see, other things to talk about. I guess the last questions I had for you, there's 3 of them about the schedule. What are your most anticipated home matches now that we've seen the schedule? And it's okay if we've already talked about them.
Most anticipated and the ones I am looking forward to.
Yes, you.
Well, I mean, Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
Ricky Pooch.
Yeah, Galaxy.
Ricky Pooch Day is going to be a fun day. And give me a little scroll here.
Okay.
I don't even know if I want to give any of these other Texas teams my most anticipated top 3.
Right. We'll see those bastards every year. We take care of them, you know.
I mean, it's chalky, but those MFs coming to Q2 there in October.
Man.
Those are my 3. The 2 LA squads in Toronto, I've been looking forward, obviously, Insigne. I've, been touting that.
Mm-hmm. Man, we have the exact same 3. I wrote down 3 for home and away. Toronto, LAFC, LA Galaxy. LA Galaxy, September 24th. That'll be my 33rd birthday.
Oh.
So Ricky Pooch on my birthday.
Snap.
We'll take a dub on the birthday. Back to LA with an L.
A birthday dub for sure. If anyone else wants to chime in with their most anticipated, I would like to see that too.
Absolutely.
Because I could just be missing something here.
Well, it's people have different preferences on who they want to see, maybe who they want to beat. Like,
for sure.
Some of that, like little bit of vengeance in my heart for my 3 that I have listed on the most anticipated away matches. But I'll let you kick it off again.
Go again.
Away matches. What are your most anticipated away matches? I think both of us have Miami, right?
Look, I'm all in on Miami now. Everyone's got me excited for Miami for something. I'm going to end up there. Man, look, it may sound dumb, but the San Jose away game at the end.
Decision day?
Yeah. Hopefully we can get off the schneid and beat them earlier.
Mm-hmm.
But if we haven't and we're playing them away and they're 7 places beneath us, and they somehow secure a point there, that's on the list for me as well. Another away game.
I'll jump in for you here.
Yeah,
obviously, Miami on the list.
Okay.
Right here for me, the first away match of the year.
Salt Lake.
At RSL.
Yeah.
Frustrating, to say the least. 2 trips up there. 1 in each season, red cards in both. Take the lead, get a red card, end up losing the match. For me, that's one, like, get that first win at RSL. Start off the year with a road victory, through that away slate. I think that for me, that's a big one. And then I couldn't narrow it down to just one for my 3rd one, but okay. I think this is okay to do, like, cheat a little bit. This stretch between April 22nd and May 17th, where you go at LA Galaxy, at Portland, at Seattle, with home matches against San Jose and Dallas in between all of those 3 road matches, that is a very, very tough stretch. And again, we already talked about May with Toronto coming up 3 days after the Seattle match.
Yeah.
That is, again, I think that from Galaxy on through the end of May, that is a make or break stretch of the season right there.
Totally agree. And the proverbial wall, as we spoke on, that's trial by fire for sure. Mm-hmm. Trial by Verde. Baptized
by Verde.
I like that.
As Brian would say. And my last question to you about the schedule, E, before we move on, close out the pod with a couple other news items. What did you think about the schedule release video? Verdissimo prominently featured, the only character really
in
there.
I didn't watch it.
Oh, you didn't?
No, I was trying to get the website to load, and I was like kept crashing. I was like, I'm not gonna be able to see. I'm not gonna have a good all these games.
Yeah. I'll just give my take then. Okay. I think maybe some other folks would have a stronger dislike for not just the video, but like the Verdissimo character. I don't necessarily disagree with anybody. I've seen comments saying like, "Yo, we didn't really need a mascot."
Yeah.
I don't disagree with that. I don't have any animosity towards the idea of this character or whatever, even though I think like there were fans dressing up as luchadors way before they brought this character out. So I don't know if that guy was like plucked from the fans or what. I know some people know his identity from before he was Verdi. Post his exact location. Where's he flying
right to? Now? He's at the World Cup.
Yeah. This is, I think, a really good take by Ari's. So the media team getting hate on socials for the video. It's creative, but a little silly, to be honest. I think that is a very fair, like, well-balanced take on it. And okay. I really fought the urge to quote tweet and rip apart the people. There were a couple comments like, time to fire the creative team who fucking came up with this. Like, yo, you are talking about not just one of the best creative teams, the best creative, marketing, media, whatever you want to say. And they have the fucking hardware to prove it from the awards last week. So fucking educate yourself about these people and what they do. They're allowed to swing and miss once every 2 fucking years. I wasn't a huge fan of like, I'm a huge Black Joe Lewis and the Honey Bears fan too. When Black Joe Lewis was doing the schedule release last year, like they set the bar really fucking high with that. And I think you came up a little bit short of the bar. So we'll send James Cameron to go find it. That's
a deep cut right there.
Let's talk about, we have some not official roster moves, but some rumors. I guess we can start because we already talked about it a few times, touched on it a few times. The We Are Austin TV rumor is that Ruben Gabrielsen is considering going back to his boyhood club in Norway, who are making a push to sign him. And the surprising part about all this, I think I'm more surprised about how he can get there rather than him actually wanting to go. I'm still surprised that he would want to leave. I feel like we've welcomed him with open arms and he seemed like he fit in here. Some of that may have just been his character and how well Ruben as a human can mesh with different groups of people. But apparently there's a clause in his contract that allows him to leave in January. And his contract is through January of 2024, but the clause is for January 2023. So we haven't heard from Ruben in a while, haven't seen him. I think he's leaving. What's your take?
I mean, all signs are pointing towards that. It's going to hurt if that's the case. Obviously, we'll have some clarity on it in a couple of weeks here.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that would be a big loss, not only from a talent standpoint, but just a positional standpoint, leadership as well. You talked about just the guy being a class act and doing the things the right way, and that would hurt. And it would be very difficult to replace. Hopefully we get some clarity on it, and hopefully he wants to stay and build something here. But I mean, can't fault the guy for wanting to go home.
No.
Can't fault the guy for wanting to play for what sounds to be, seems to be his, the team he rooted for growing up as a young man or young boy, whatever you want to say here.
Yeah.
So I really can't fault him for that. Obviously, we've seen the River Plate, comments from Seba.
He has the crest tattooed on his leg, right?
And it's obviously even becoming more prevalent throughout sport now, where guys want to go home, they want to have that homecoming.
Your boy.
Yeah, exactly.
You've been to Cleveland a couple of times as a fan.
I have.
Yeah, just through your travels, Cleveland first, then Miami, then Cleveland, then LA. Maybe back to Cleveland. Who knows?
Yeah.
The NBA theist.
Yeah, man. He's one of my favorite players. I think when we did the MVP outside of Seba, he was my choice.
Yep, he was.
So yeah, man, obviously a relief. It's not Seba, obviously Diego as well. But this is a Peaky Blinders throw your glasses down moment.
Yeah, I mean, and I mean we've praised Ruben, I think, appropriately for just how much he meant to the team on and off the field on that back line. It's kind of, he's like a pseudo captain on the team.
Sure.
We saw him wear the armband one game, and I think get it in another where Ring subbed off.
Yes.
Väisänen, I think that leadership that Gabrielsen brings is what Väisänen cannot replace.
For sure.
I think skill-wise, they're probably fairly comparable. And we know that Väisänen, at least from his stats overseas, like that dude was an Iron Man, played full 90s in all 27 appearances last year, and is younger by 5 years.
Correct.
So it's not, the sky is not falling if Ruben leaves and they do bring in Väisänen. Then you need even more depth, because I don't feel comfortable going in to the season with Väisänen, Cascante, Keller, Romagna. We need a fifth. And hopefully somebody that's a little bit more talented, no disrespect to the man himself, but a little bit more talented than Freddie Kleeman as your fifth option, like, would be nice.
Yeah.
So we can, we'll talk more about Ruben as that develops. RB in here saying we're in trouble if we have to depend on Romagna to be our backup. Kip with low playing time, rumored to be a key part for us in FC2. We need a center back regardless if Ruben leaves or not. And I think that's kind of just the point we were just touching on, right? Is like, if Ruben leaves, you need more than one piece.
Yeah. I mean, we were on board with we need a center back, even if Ruben doesn't leave.
Mm-hmm.
Because I totally agree. Romagna scares the living hell out of me back there.
Mm-hmm.
Just every time he's on the field.
I
like him for sure.
Yeah.
And I think he definitely shows flashes that are just like really impressive.
When he struggled with injury last year too, like we talked about injuries earlier. I didn't mention Romagna.
And the cramps. I mean, the man almost passed away on the field.
Well, and then he got the concussion in that one game and threw up and had to come out of them. Like, he had a rough year.
And so your point about Väisänen and the skill level, and obviously, usually when you look at it from a numbers standpoint, you see his tenure across the pond, or I don't know, where was he? He's in Finland?
So he's from Finland, but he's playing in the Swedish league.
Okay. Obviously we see his tenure. Obviously we see he's talented, the national caps. He's younger. When you look at that from like you're building a roster, it's like, oh yeah, we should be more excited about this. But the counter argument to that is obviously it would be very difficult for him to fill the leadership shoes.
Yeah. There's no 25-year-old center back coming in here with the voice that Ruben had.
A 31-year-old, man who has
well-traveled.
Yes, absolutely. Great point there. We need more help on that back line, period.
Mm-hmm.
Even if Ruben stays, we do. And the development of Kip this year is going to be big. Can he take a step? Can he take some of those minutes away from Cascante? Can he say, I need those minutes now? And hopefully he should with such a loaded schedule filled with games. The opportunity will be there. If it works out the way we want it to is yet to be seen.
Yeah. Well, we could get maybe some backline help, although this is not the primary position of our second player to discuss here in rumors. Rumored to already have an agreement with the club is Cheick Toure. We're getting you and I familiar with Cheick Diallo, right? So now Cheick Toure on the soccer side of things, he's 21. He'll be 22. And again, the signing's not official. He'll be 22 by the time the season starts. He's got a February birthday. And so young player, has played as a left wing for the majority of his young career, came up through, and I'll shout out Felix Oscom, who is the assistant women's soccer coach at Southwestern University, where I used to coach hoops. Felix, Dutch himself, and a fan of Feyenoord, where Toure came up through there, academy ranks and actually did play 24 minutes for Feyenoord, the first team when he was 16 years old. Most recently, he's been with PSV and I think it's pronounced Young PSV, which is like their Austin FC2 version of PSV. So he's like not super impressive on paper. His stats haven't been great for a forward, and he was a free agent, which I know some people bristled at. Like, why is this young player a free agent? Like, that's how we're getting him. But I will also shout out Landon Cotham from Moon Tower Soccer, who is very like, he knows the sites to go and like watch film on these type of guys. Which, like, Landon, if you were ever listening, please hit me with some of those links, because I'm a guy and so is he. So he mentioned, and you can back this up on FB Ref, 5 of his last 6 appearances were at right back. And all 5 of those were starts. So, are we maybe signing Cheick Toure to convert to kind of more of an attacking-minded wingback like Johnny Gallagher, albeit on the other side? I think maybe that's what they're doing.
I think yes. I think that is absolutely the case, especially with how we want to play.
Yep.
And with Johnny, we saw that we can kind of plug and play someone in there who has speed, is athletic, and you got to service balls in, you got to get up the sideline, you got to get back on defense.
Yep.
Like, if we got a young 21-year-old, 22-year-old coming into the season who clearly has some speed, obviously up front to start, that's an interesting thing. That's an interesting kind of play, because he could have an attacker's mentality.
Right.
So yeah, he could be a developmental piece back there for us. And any sort of help, as we mentioned, on that back line, any sort of depth, no matter where it comes from, I am all for it. Yes.
Yeah.
No matter where it comes from, if we got to convert you from striker back, we need you.
Right. Well, I think maybe our expectations for a position conversion like that are a little bit high because of how successful John Gallagher was.
Okay. That's fair.
But we'll see how that plays out. And I think the rumor is this Toure signing is expected to be announced sometime around Christmas. So sometime this week, next episode, maybe we're talking about official green smoke being posted by our buddy, Anthony Precourt. David in here talking about gives him hope, because the front office are aware of the defensive side and how it's, a little bit lacking, and they're willing to sign a player to improve. Very much agreed. And that's one thing that I think you and I have said throughout this entire process, going back to the first year, is trust in Claudio Reyna. It's a process. He said it himself, and we agree. We're ahead of schedule right now because of all the expectations that were exceeded last year. And this is a guy who built that NYCFC roster that won the cup last year. And he's, they were not far off. Final 4 team last year in the playoffs. So I fully trust, maybe blindly trust, Claudio Reyna and the decisions he's making, with knowledge that not every single move is going to work out.
What else can you do?
Right.
Of course. What else can you do? And I think it's a good person to place that faith in. Obviously, he has the track record. Obviously the Redis has not worked out.
Part of the presidential delegation last week going to the World Cup. I don't know if you saw that or not.
Yes, I did. So I too firmly believe in Reyna, what he's trying to build, and going to continue to trust that process, to steal some Philadelphia 76ers jargon. It hasn't worked out for them in terms of championships, but you do have to trust this process. And again, we are way ahead of schedule. Way ahead of schedule. We're building something from the ground up, and we're doing a good job at it.
Yep. So let's close out the pod here talking Super Draft and World Cup. The Super Draft is tomorrow. Certainly less exciting from an anticipation standpoint, considering we were obviously first in the expansion year, grabbing Danny. 5th last year. Kip Keller falling to us was fantastic, and I'm still celebrating that, just how that draft broke. But this year, pick 27, which I think, you want picks in the late 20s because that means you're up at the top of the Supporters Shield standings. But, you know, the Super Draft outside of the top 6 to 10 picks every year is really a crapshoot.
Yeah.
But there's been guys like, I think it was RSL that drafted somebody in the 80s last year, like in round 3, who played like 1,500 minutes for them or something on the first team last year. So again, that is
for sure
an anomaly. That's not the normal thing that's going to happen in the Super Draft in the later rounds. But at 27, obviously, even if you and I were diving into the top 10 prospects, we wouldn't be seeing any of them here. So I'll ask you positionally, who would you like to see? What position would you like to see Austin take with the 27th pick tomorrow? Again, this Super Draft, 4 p.m. Eastern. I believe the MLS YouTube channel is where you can find it.
I would like to see them go best player available.
Yeah.
Regardless of position. Because like you said, obviously it's a bit of a crapshoot after, you know, the 10th pick. You can find outliers, anomalies in any sort of, you know, draft or anything in life, really.
Right.
If we could land one of those guys, great. I think to give yourself the best chance to do that, you take best player available. Highest player on your board that's left. Go from there. To answer your question, to me, it's still anywhere's on the back line. It's anywhere. Yeah. Especially if the Ruben news is let's go worst case scenario. He's gone in January. Let's say that's our starting point. He's gone.
Right.
You got to get somebody else back there. And I mean, I don't even know if it really helps you, you know, with the 27th pick here, grabbing some sort of defensive player,
right?
Super Draft who you shouldn't be putting any sort of expectation on to be like, all right, well, here's our guy to plug in for Ruben.
Yeah.
But again, the depth that we're going to need to make it through this season. And you have to anticipate other players taking that step next year. You know, we need to see a step from Danny. I think offensively for him, some improvement there is much needed. But with the rotation now at the midfield and the not the resurgence, but the emergence of Johan at the end there, gives me a lot of. I feel like that is where we are most solid. Yeah. So I'm going to go with defensive line, probably a center back, to be honest, because Romagna scares me, and who knows what Kip's going to do.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. I think center back is probably because, again, like you can pick, I would think you can pick, regardless of what position, you could pick a young guy with upside and we can stash him on the next pro team for the majority of the year. And really, you know, get whatever player that is, get him the minutes with Austin FC too, and really see what you got. Another thing that was mentioned, I think it was David Goss that wrote the article, but mentioned maybe best goalkeeper on the board should be the pick.
Okay.
Because we don't know about the depth behind Stuver. I don't know. We haven't seen Damian Lass. So I have no idea. But we know the kid came from Fulham's academy, right? So, like, there's some pedigree there. The club, like, if we see a goalkeeper picked here, I think that's bad news for Damian Lass's outlook with the club. And if we don't see a keeper picked, then I think Damian Lass is the one that is going to win that backup job. Obviously, Tarbell in Houston now. But I did want to first, we've got RB in here saying, let's pick up defenders, play them in the next pro team. Historically good center backs come out of the Super Draft, so let's bet there. We're in lockstep, I think, RB. And we're in lockstep. He says, great takes. And David saying, really want Alex Collins to Austin FC right about now with this Ruben news. Fuck yes, David. And we haven't heard a ton of rumors surrounding Collins outside, I think, of us and other podcasts saying we really want him. I think this guy would also want him. Brian stopping by the podcast for the last little bit here. Brian, good to see you, brother. How you been?
What's up, fellas? I'm doing well. How are y'all? Thanks for having me.
Excited.
Excellent, dude. Great to see.
Like, I don't ever have to be juiced up for anything Austin FC, but I think we've got ease juices flowing here with the schedule release. Obviously, you've been, tuning in from work. Now you got a few minutes. What are your takes on the schedule as a whole? Any specific games? The Copa Tejas imbalance? Like, what are you feeling about the schedule?
To be perfectly honest, I haven't dove deep into it too much yet, but I'm excited. I think I heard you talking about it earlier. That month of May is going to be brutal, man. Funny enough, though, I will probably miss that first Dallas game at home because my wife and I, she's never been to the Redwoods and all of that. So we're going to plan a trip to the Northwest.
Nice.
To see Portland and Seattle, the away games, since they're so close together. That'll be fun. I'm excited about that because I get to plan a trip with her. She's never done that, never seen that part of the world. So that's going to be super fun. What's that?
That will be awesome.
Yeah. Or maybe you'll see the first ever wins for Austin FC up there in Portland and Seattle. Two really tough places to play.
We're sending our best.
Yeah.
We are.
Well, my wife tends to be a good luck charm too, so she doesn't go to many games. But
True.
when she does, we do pretty well. So
nice.
But yeah, man, definitely looking forward to that baptism by Verde for St. Louis.
Baptism by Verde.
Yeah. Well, and so I want to ask you about this since we got you here. Your brother did a thing.
Don't Yeah. I'm the best man at that wedding, so I don't know. Maybe we can donate them and do a giveaway for the North End podcast listeners or something.
Yeah,
we'll talk to you guys more about it. But,
I like that.
So the thing I would say is at least we're going to be at the wedding where it's probably the most acceptable to be sitting there watching a screen.
Yeah. I'll be giving my toast. Excuse me real quick.
I promise I won't let out any loud F-bombs or anything during the ceremony.
Brian, who are you most excited to come see from an individual player standpoint?
From an individual player
Who's
standpoint,
coming to the queue you really want to see?
We talked a lot about Toronto.
Yeah, Toronto is going to be fun, man. You're going to see some legends in that game. I'm always in it for the against the big wigs. So LAFC coming at the end of the season again, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's
second to last game there.
Yeah, that's going to be epic. I think again. I'm loving that everything is a primetime game almost. It's we don't have to worry about burning ass hot Q2 stadium in the middle of July. On a summer day. Looking forward to the first Champions League game. That's going to be so cool, man. Just to be a part of that history. And I'm so glad my brother isn't getting married that week.
I
can give up Montreal. So I'm looking forward to that. I'll be excited too to see what happens with the Leagues Cup games, how those are portioned out, and U.S. Open Cup. I think y'all said we come in the fourth round or something. So
I think we qualify for that extra bye that the top MLS teams get.
Yeah, that'd be exciting to kind of have a later round, and probably more likely that we have a home game for the U.S. Open Cup for our first. That's going to be exciting. Yeah, let's go.
I would love to play San Antonio again.
Yeah, we need
that. They
that
won
rematch.
USL last year, right?
Yeah, we need that rematch. They do have a star on their jersey now. I saw their Twitter. So kudos and congratulations to San Antonio FC while we're on it. No matter what league you're in, it's always tough to win a league. So congratulations to them. They deserve the season that they had last year.
That was the real launching point for our friendship was that game.
Oh yeah.
It's true.
That's
very true.
That's where it really kind of all began.
The legend.
I'll put you on the spot here, Yeah, that's right. What's your expectation for a finish this upcoming season?
It's got to be playoffs or bust. I think we've now proven it. Like, even with the turnover, I think it was said a couple weeks back, like, this league is not known for its defense. So you need to have, barn burner shootouts. And we have one of the best offenses in the league. So I never count us out. Even when we were down 3-1, 3-0 to New York last year, there was no counting us out. We have the offense to do it. The addition of Giassi Zardes gives us even more firepower. Like, we could honestly go to a full-on 4-3-3 and be perfectly fine. Not having to worry about two defensive center mids anymore. I mean, it's nice to have that, but having a double pivot 8 as opposed to a double pivot 6 it creates so much more opportunity. So I'm excited for the firepower we have. I think realistically, like the 4, 5, 6 spot. I think we get there. Obviously, we have the ability to build on last year, and I would love to have as many home games as possible. I love those playoff games at home. So if we could get second or first again, that'd be great.
We'll take that for sure.
Absolutely.
Let's see.
By the way, repping some Joel Coral via.
Hey, there you go.
Hell yeah.
So
gotta love that tifo.
I'm looking forward to some more tifos. Since I'm part of the tifo crew.
Yeah,
I'm excited about the possibilities of what we could have coming up.
Yeah, being able to showcase the fandom that we do have to the expansion club coming to Q2 to open the season, like, it'd be a really nice welcome to the MLS moment for that club. And like, they have Jared Stroud who can let them know what they're walking into as well. So early homecoming for Jared Stroud. We also, like, we talked about the Revolution game up there in New England, September. Homecoming game for Diego Fagundes, so I'm sure that's going to be a special one for him.
For sure.
If we can, I'm sure you and I will go find the lines on Diego Fagundes to score in that game and put some jelly beans down on that one. Let's close out the pod here, fellas. We're almost at an hour and a half here, and we appreciate everybody tuning in, sticking with us. Did want to touch a little bit on the new world champions before we say goodbye. I mean, just one of the best, if not the best, soccer match I've ever seen. Very similar final on the MLS side of 6 weeks ago or whatever. So I did see that comparison out there a few times, but just obviously with the talent level and the stakes in this match, there was nothing like it in my book, at least in the recent past. So I'll throw it to you first. You had Argentina picked at the start as the winners. That comes through. So Eastradamus, living up to his name, last words on the World Cup and your pick, Argentina.
Just super happy for Messi to finally get that one. What a tournament. Obviously, that last game was about as good of a culmination as you could have for an absolutely spectacular tournament. Morocco, obviously the Croatians in there again, who just always are I really enjoy watching them play. I won't get too much into it, but super happy for Messi. I thought Argentina, if you were to ask that team what really propelled them to like a championship, I think it was the first game loss, because they went up early and it was like, this is who we are.
Yeah, we're rolling.
Where nobody's coming, nobody's touching us. And then to get that dose of reality, I think it put the right amount of humility in that squad to get the job done. Because, I mean, even if you look at some of these other rosters and you look at the Brazilian team and the amount of talent they have, and you look at the French team and the amount of talent they have. So it just super happy for Messi and super happy for everyone who got to tune in, everyone who got to watch the game. Obviously, our hundreds of thousands of listeners in Argentina. Congratulations.
Well, and I think, fucking mate con vos going to be that cast of characters pretty excited. You can throw Emiliano Rigoni in there as well. Brian, who did you have winning the cup, and just kind of your takes on the final and Messi's status now? What did you come away from the tournament with?
Well, first of all, I picked the final correctly, but nice. I had France winning. And I didn't. The funny thing is I didn't pick anything else correctly. Like I had nothing else but the Argentina and France.
The last two.
And I did have France winning. I thought it was going to be a shootout like we saw, and I'm so happy for it. Being like a lifetime fan of soccer, looking at it from that point of view, and a lot of the criticism that soccer always gets about, oh, it's such a boring game, oh, blah, blah, blah. It's like, nah, this is what you see. This is what you get. This is why we call it the beautiful game. Yeah. And even my wife, like I woke her up when it was going into extra time. I was like, it's going into extra time 2-2. You're going to want to watch this game. She came out and she had as much energy as I had. Nice. And she is nowhere near a diehard soccer fan like I am. So yeah. I was so proud of the teams that participated. I think it was an awesome showing for the underdogs. It's so cool to see when the underdogs like that, especially Morocco.
Morocco was awesome.
To see that run that they had, and especially after like the controversy that they had 4 years ago with firing their coach and who he brought in. So it was excellent to see that. I think they had a great tournament. Croatia always. I don't know why so many people sleep on them. Yeah. Why they're so far down the list, because they were runners up in 2018, and this was like the third cup in a row where they've reached the semifinal. So it's like why are we sleeping on Croatia? I think they have the best midfielder in the game, Luka Modric. Like if he would have been able to win the cup, I would have been just as happy as I am for Messi winning it, because they have that similar kind of career. It's just that he is less in the spotlight than Messi. But I'm so happy for Messi. Those scenes that you see all over Twitter from Buenos Aires, and congratulations, campeones del mundo, congratulations to them. I'm super excited for the hype that this caused for people who are looking forward to 2026. I love these rankings that we see up here, that USA is the kings of CONCACAF, and we proved it why we're there. And hopefully we can crack the top 10, maybe. We'll see. But yeah, I think the game can only go up from here in this country. And I'm so looking forward to being a part of the ride. Yeah.
Agreed. That's the last thing I wanted to mention here. I guess two things. One, congrats, Thiago Almada, first active MLS player to win a World Cup. He did appear for 6 minutes as an injury replacement on this roster.
Hell yeah.
And then shout out to the keeper there, Martinez, for Argentina, for not just the spectacular play, which should get more play, but I'm going to give the attention to the the celebration with the trophy afterwards, holding that to his groin area there. Just some fantastic meme material.
So he knew what he was doing.
Yeah, I appreciated that. And then, like you said, U.S. 13th here on the latest FIFA World Rankings. Interesting to see some teams, Italy there at 8, which I don't argue with the ranking, but it's just interesting to see the teams that miss out on the World Cup. There's always going to be a big name, not including the United States, who obviously missed last time, but and not having to worry about qualifying going into 2026 is nice too, to just have a reprieve from that.
I was just going to say, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the first time that we've been ranked higher than Germany.
I was about to say, the fact that we're above Germany is the most surprising thing to me, and I'll take it. Any other thoughts for you guys on the World Cup before we get out of here?
Got to start saving my money for 2026 tickets. That's all.
True.
We got to go to some games, right?
That's given for sure. We're going.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, a little over an hour and a half here on the schedule release live stream. This was, I don't think I said it at the top, episode 22, our Felipe Martins episode. So shout out Felipe out there in Orlando now. We won't see him on the schedule, but we will certainly be watching the exploits of our buddy Felipe. We appreciate you, Brian, for coming on, giving your takes. Ari, giving your takes. Everybody else who was in the chat chiming in on this North End podcast live stream. If you have a second, you're still tuned in, hit that subscribe button, help us grow the channel, the like button on the video. And if you're listening in podcast form, rate, review, and subscribe. Helps us grow the pod, grow the channel in this fantastic Austin FC community. So for Aries, Brian, E, I'm Zach. Until next time, vamos Austin FC. Goodbye.
1